Now, the rest of the story.
Alright, as the intro says, welcome back to the rest of the story. Now this video is kind of out of order as to where it should really be. If I was going to do this or post this particular footage, it's actually about a month behind, but to be quite honest, I just didn't feel like talking about the combine today. So you can look forward to a video tomorrow on pretty much the finishing ups, the last little bit we had to do to the combine. But until then, let's just talk a little bit about the crops and the weather, which what farmer can really call himself a farmer if you can't talk about the weather out of nowhere? But this is something that we really would like to have been doing up to this point. We are looking at the 1st of October and no signs of any decent really drying days to make any hay in sight. Now, the problem is you're getting late enough in the year. Oh, sorry, I just stepped on Calvin. The fact that the amount of sunlight that we're actually getting, the amount of heat that we may potentially be getting is actually going to be decreasing here at a kind of alarming rate. Looking at the forecast, they're calling for temperatures in the 50s and 60s starting next week. We do not have any forecast for any of that dreaded S word, N-O-W, you know what I mean? So we are fortunate in that way. What I'm really thinking is going to be happening going forward here, this is just speculation, but the last 2 years in particular, we did have 2 to 3 week stretches of wet weather right around this time of the year where it shut us down for the first half of October. Now what I am kind of banking on is that's exactly the kind of weather we've had for the last 2 weeks up to this point. And quick note, you can see I'm just crawling up this bank here. This is the steep part of the hill. If you guys remember or have seen the video earlier this year or earlier in the summer, probably back about July, the same pasture, same everything other than the fact that it's later at night and I do not have my LEDs mounted on the 76 yet. The only ones that I have on are the top 4 lights above the roof, and I'm cutting second cut grass. So, and this stuff got rained on a lot, but it did get made. Now, as far as the weather, I'm really hoping that we are going to be looking at some drier weather patterns going forward here, particularly for mainly the month of October, and we don't get the cloudy, dreary, wet, crummy weather like we did the last 2 years. Blue sky and sunny would be great. The crops are maturing really well. The only thing that I'm concerned about, which has been a concern for the last 2 years, and thinking back to 2009 where it was a really awfully wet season, wet growing year, worrying about grain quality going into harvest. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on New Ag Talk, and I try to stay away from it because, well, it's a generally negative site. Anybody that is a farmer that may have depression issues, depending on the challenges you've had this year, I do not recommend going on New Ag Talk right now because it is rather depressing. There's a lot of guys predicting yields that we're calling for 20 to 75 bushels better than what they're currently getting. A lot of really nasty looking pictures out there of damaged corn, and it's actually from moisture, from too much moisture, from all the rain we're getting. See, the kernels and the cobs that are still in the plant, still in the stalks, the ears haven't reached a point where they're laying over or they're hanging down, so the rain is still able to penetrate the husks. And then the problem is when you get all this rain, it gets down in around the kernels, and the kernels start to mold and rot. and grow. I saw a really terrible picture. It was just today. Today is 9/26/19, and it was a picture of an ear of corn from northwest, or is it just north central Illinois? And literally every single kernel on that cob, on that ear of corn, had sprouted, and there were little green plants coming out of every single kernel on that ear of corn. That would make me probably beyond physically sick if I found any of that in our fields. Everybody, from what I understand, has some. When I say some, I mean if you go out through the field, you pick 100 ears of corn, not saying anybody's going to, and you find 2 to 5 ears with 1 to maybe 2 kernels that do have some rain damage, mold damage, maybe a sprout or two, but it's everywhere. It's not just any one particular person. It's a regional thing from what I'm understanding. You do hear some people saying that they're too dry and their crops are struggling in that way. A very common theme that I'm hearing this year, in particular to making hay, of course, a lot of the dairy guys are having some really severe issues with trying to get quality hay made, and also now trying to get their corn silage chopped when it is at the ideal maturity, ideal moisture, because you don't want it to get too dry, because it does affect your feed quality. There's a bunch of guys that are running pretty hot and heavy here in the last 2 days, largely because the weather forecast for next week was calling for pretty much a week straight of rain. It was going to start tomorrow, and it was going to rain all the way till next Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. So you're calling for 6 days of rain. We checked it tonight, and I'm being a little optimistic here. They are dialing back the amount of rain that they're predicting. We are down in the 40% chance of rain right now. They did have flash flood warnings out for us since yesterday. I do not know if they still do, because I haven't really done much for checking the weather here lately. But it's just going to have to be a play-by-ear deal. We do have a bunch of hay to make yet. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you as far as what we're going to be doing from here on out for our hay. If October gives us a 2 to 3 week stretch of decent weather where we could knock it over, potentially ted it out. I'm not sure where we're at on the tedding front, if we're better off just cutting it, laying it out flat, and then just letting it do whatever it's going to do, and then baling it if the weather permits. I'm not sure if that's the route we'd go, if we would ted. I do have 30 acres of that low-lying ground that I would have still liked to have made, but it's going to take pretty much all the stars in the sky to align, and almost, dare I say, a month of heat and sunshine to really get us back down there and get it made. So time will tell. I mean, I post pretty much everything that goes on a day-to-day basis. Get a lot of flack for it too, because I mean, everything is not always hunky-dory. Everything isn't always laughing, smiling, giggling into the camera. I'm very real. I don't put on a fake smile when I have no reason to smile. And I think that's why a lot of my longtime viewers hang around. And I'm going to continue to do the videos that I've been doing. Harvest, I have mentioned, I think in the live stream the other night, I'm going to be ramping up the amount of times I upload. I'm currently running on a fixed schedule of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 p.m. Central. I have been kind of pondering about bumping that back to 7 p.m. Central. I mean, that is, based off Chicago time and the States here for anybody that's watching in Australia and over the ponds, because I do have a couple people that comment that it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're watching my videos just as they are released, which is pretty neat. Thanks for the support. I am considering bumping it back to probably closer to 7 o'clock. It makes my videos only an hour later in the day, but what it does, especially for me getting busier in the fall here, it'll give me another hour to get my videos uploaded throughout the day, because I'll let you guys in on a little secret for those of you that are still tuning in. It's pretty common for me to get my videos uploaded early in the morning, say anywhere from 6 to 9 in the morning, and let them upload, and they usually, it's a pretty common theme for me, they get done uploading within the hour or less from when I'm actually posting them. So from how I've been getting my videos uploaded here lately, I think another hour would probably help out, especially if we keep getting busier as we're going forward, because every day as of late it has just been gradually busier and busier. So yes, this hay here really didn't amount to much. I'm actually looking into doing more fertilizer in between cuttings, especially even on this grass. Either getting a sprayer of our own, which that's probably one of the last things I'd consider. Right now, we're really looking at either applying a dry fertilizer or hiring Andrew to use a stream bar setup on the self-propelled sprayers that they have and put on more of a liquid nitrogen mix of some sort, to really kickstart this grass and get it up and get it ready for the next crop. That is if we have a lot of issues going forward with the crop just being there, because our first and second crop this year were terrible. Our third crop, to saying it just simply outpaced our first cutting is almost an insult. Third crop lapped our first and second crop quantity as far as the amount of material we actually had. Third crop was awesome. It outperformed our first cutting by about a third as far as the quantity goes. And second crop, we almost should have just went and hit that with a brush cutter, to be quite honest. But we're here to make feed, not destroy feed, So, all right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. You guys can look forward to some LED at night field work with the 76. I bought another Halo View camera for the Gravity Wagon so I can see inside of it, because I do have the camera display in the tractor already, so I might as well go ahead and use it because I want to utilize that camera. I may actually consider buy another camera and mount it on the back of that Easy Trail grain wagon, because I will be using that a fair amount, probably just as much as we always have in previous years. So the semi is going to be nice, but there's some places where we just simply can't get in and out with the semi. I'm sure I'll be answering that question a lot going into this fall, but I'm okay with it. I'm pretty content answering everybody's questions and concerns and worries. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. Enjoy these last few days or last weeks or whatever it ends up being of nice warm weather, because I think just like always, like the last handful of years, it's going to be like a light switch. It's going to go from 70-degree weather days to 40-degree weather days almost instantly. So I'll talk to you guys later.